friends, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Alana. For this video, I am doing my anticipated reads for the first half of 2025. So I have a few books on this list that are coming out between like January and April that I'm really looking forward to. I haven't really been paying enough attention to new releases for this year, so these are things that either they're sequels or they just happen to come across like my eyes randomly and caught my interest. So the first book I have on this list is The Starlight Heir by Amalie Howard. It was blurbed by both Rebecca Yarros and Nisha J. Tooley. And Rebecca Yarros wouldn't have caught my eye, but Nisha J. Tooley would have, because I do enjoy her Trial of the Sun Queen series. A bladesmith blessed by the stars, a prince with a dangerous secret, a god bound in shadows. His Imperial Majesty King Zarek requests your presence as his esteemed guest. When the gold-dusted court invitation arrives at Soraya Sab's forge, she believes it's a joke. Nobles might seek her skills as a bladesmith, one of few who can imbue her work with precious jadoo, the last source of magic in the realm, but she has no qualifications as a potential bride for the crown prince. Still, the invitation is the chance at adventure and the means to finally visit the capital city her late mother loved. But what awaits her in Caldari, nothing she could have imagined, and fraught with danger. It's not the crown prince, but his impossibly handsome, illegitimate half-brother, Raughley-Jan, who captures her interest in her ire. The invitation isn't a quest to find a suitable bride, but a veiled hunt for the Starkeeper, a girl rumored to hold the magic of the stars in her blood. And across the city, unrest is brewing between the noble houses and the rebel militia. When the rebels attack, Soraya and Raughley-Jan find themselves on the run, trying to deny their simmering attraction, and the knowledge that Soraya herself might be the Starkeeper. But Raughley-Jan is guarding secrets of his own, and with no control over the power stirring within her, Soraya has drawn the attention of a dark god, an immortal whose interest might be the biggest threat of all. That sounded really interesting. I thought it sounded cool, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm hoping it's really, really good. And that comes out January 7th. Next, also coming out on January 7th, is An Honored Vow by Melissa Blair. So this is the fourth book in the Halfling saga, and it follows an assassin who is a halfling, and her people have been enslaved by the king for many, many years. And though she has tried to rebel, it has constantly failed, and so she's at the point where she has given up and just like thrown herself into alcohol. And so something happens that like draws her passion and re-inspires her to fight again. And the rest of the series is following her journey as she figures out who she is and how to really oppose the king. The next book I have that comes out on January 14th is The Queen's Spade by Sarah Raleigh. This sounded really interesting to me. It's the Count of Monte Cristo meets Bridgerton. At least that's what they say. And I enjoy the story of the Count of Monte Cristo, and I liked Bridgerton. So the year is 1862, and murderous desires are simmering in England. 19-year-old Sarah Bonetta Forbes, Sally, desires one thing above all else: revenge against the British crown and its system of colonial humanitarianism, which stole her dignity and transformed her into royal property. From military men to political leaders, she's vowed to ruin all who've had a hand in her afflictions. To top of her list, her godmother, Britain's mighty monarch, Queen Victoria herself. Taking down the crown means entering into a twisted game of court politics and manipulating the Queen's inner circle, even if that means aligning with a dangerous yet alluring crime lord in London's underworld and exploiting the affections of Queen Victoria's own son, Prince Albert, as a means to an end. But when Queen Victoria begins to suspect Sally's true intentions, she plays the only card in Victorian society that could possibly cage Sally once again: marriage. That sounded really cool. I was into it. Any type of revenge colonialization story, I'm here for. The next book I have on this list comes out January 21st, and it is Onyx by Rebecca Yarros. This is the third book in the Fourth Wing series. I'm not going to go into detail because I feel like everybody knows what Fourth Wing is about, even if you haven't read it. So we're just going to move on, but I'm really, really excited for that book, and I definitely plan to pick it up the first day it releases. Alright, next I have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. She wrote the Love Light series, which is like a cute little romance quartet, and each book is based on a different season in this small town, and I really loved the first one in that. I haven't read the other ones yet, but I heard about this one that she was writing, and it sounded really interesting. It comes out February 11th, and it is a romance inspired by Sleepless in Seattle, and it's about a guy who hosts a like romance hotline, but he doesn't really believe in love anymore, and he happens to meet this other caller who calls about advice for her mother, and it like goes viral, and so from there it's like a romance that happens. And I'm a sucker for like anything that involves like television shows where the characters meet and fall in love, or radio shows, so I'm here for it. Next, I have Finlay Donovan Digs Her Own Grave, which is the 5th book in the Finlay Donovan series. I don't even know where this is about. I already read the books 1 through 4, and I think from where book 4 ended, this is going to follow her neighbor who gets mixed up in some stuff, and I'm just really looking forward to it. This is a fun series. I really love Finlay and her nanny Vero, and just their dynamics when it comes to trying to solve all this bad stuff that keeps happening around them. It follows Finlay Donovan, who was a struggling writer, and she meets with her editor and talks about her book, and she is misinterpreted by someone who overhears the conversation to be an assassin, and so then this lady gives her this job to kill her husband, and she doesn't know what to do, and then the husband ends up being dead, and she now has to figure out who actually killed him because it wasn't her. And from there it's a whole chain of events in the series, and I just really love it, so I'm looking forward to this 5th book. And that comes out March 4th. So then I have this next book, which is The Notorious Virtues. This comes out April 1st by Alwyn Hamilton. This sounded really interesting as well. Okay, so at 16, Honora Holtzfall is the daughter of the most powerful heiress in all of Wallstead. Her family controls all the money and all the magic in the entire country. But despite being the center of attention, Nora has always felt like an outsider. When her mother is found dead in an alley, the family throne and fortune are suddenly up for grabs, and Nora will be pitted against her cousins in the Veritas, the ultimate magical competition for power that determines the one family heir. But there's a surprise contestant this time, Lottie, the illegitimate daughter of Nora's aunt. When Lottie's absent mother retrieves her from the rural convent she'd abandoned her to, Lottie goes from being an orphan to surrounded by family. Unfortunately, most of them want her dead. And soon, Nora discovers that her mother's death wasn't random, it was murder, and the only person she can trust to uncover the truth of what happened is a rakish young reporter who despises everything Nora and her family stand for. With everyone against her, Lottie's last hope is hunting for the identity of her father. But the dangerous competition and her feelings for Theo, one of the Holtzville's sworn protectors, turns her world upside down. I don't know, that just sounded really interesting. I really loved The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and so I'm all for another book that has some type of family competition in it. Next I have Firebird by Juliette Cross. This comes out April 8th. This is House of Dragons meets From Blood and Ash. It's a dark romantasy. A conqueror captivated. A witch prophesies to save them all. A world where dragons rule Rome. From the moment Roman general and nephew to the emperor Julianus Dacia laid eyes on Melina, he was enthralled by the Dacian dancer. Years later, the fierce beauty stands before him on a scarred battlefield, her life in danger. He instinctively shifts into his fierce dragon form to save her, an action that may mean his head on the imperial gate. But he and his dragon know one thing: she belongs to them. Melina can't believe that the centurion who had once bestowed a secret talisman on her is the Roman general of legendary brutality. His warrior prowess cannot be denied, yet they don't reveal the secret he hides. All Melina knows is his protection and gentle touch, and she cannot deny how her soul has always seemed to answer his. As they navigate a world where flying death riders conquer and burn, their love will ignite a firestorm that can only end in heartbreak or death. It sounded interesting. The cover really got me. I don't really like reading Roman-inspired books, but I'm willing to give this a chance because it has dragons in it. And the last book I have on this list is A Great Big Beautiful Life by my girl Emily Henry. This comes out April 22nd. And Two writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve. That's all I need to know. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I really love when Emily Henry writes about writers, because I just think it's always like such a fun thing to read about. So I'm here for it. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this as well. So, yay. Those are a good chunk of the books that I'm looking forward to that are releasing this year. If you know any other books that are releasing that you're excited about, please let me know down below. I need to add more stuff to my list anyways. If you liked the video, please like it down below. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave all that in the comment section. If you are not good at commenting, go ahead and leave me an emoji. Leave me a book emoji or something. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. You are all sunflowers and a world full of weeds.